All right, so getting ready to start doing your wiring projects. What you're going to do is you're going to come over here. You're going to grab a white, a black, and a red wire. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to pull the wires. Okay. You're going to use the length of the desk to measure the wires. So you're going to cut the wires the length of the desk. So you come over here to the end. All right. And then you come back, hold the wires, and then you cut it. You cut the wires just past the desk. That's how you get the length of wire. You get 6 feet of wire. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate how to start your projects. So now you're going to start your first board job. Okay, if you look at the diagram, and we set up the diagram just like the board. Turn it so you can see it. Okay. You see right here, there's the feed in the first box. So that's the feed coming in. You have your black wire, which is the solid line. Your white wire, which is the dotted line. Okay. If you see, you have your four boxes set up: box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4. So you're going to be just using boxes 1, 2, and 3 for this job. Okay. And there's just white and black wire. So you have your ground wire is screwed to the bottom of the box. That grounds the whole job. Okay. Now, even though you got white, black, and red wire, you're going to be just starting out because this job here uses just white and black wire. So you start with your wire, you push it in the pipe, going from box 1 to box 2. All right. You pull it out now, you take your lines and pliers. You want to make sure you have a lines and pliers length in the box. And then what you do is you fold it over so you can't pull it back. Then you come over to your first box and again measure a lines and pliers length and you cut the wire and bend it over. Okay, so now you have the wires run from your first box. I go from box 2 to box 3. Again, measure length, lines and pliers length. Okay. Again, lines and pliers, you see it's a little longer. Trim off the excess. Okay. Put that wire aside. Okay, so now you got all your wire run. Now you're going to start in box 1. And if you notice there's little black dots in there. Okay, these 2 dots on the white and the dashed the white and the black wire, that shows you splices. Those black dots are splices. The one with the green is the screw where it's terminated in the bottom of the box here. See that? So the ground wire is there. But here, in the other 2 boxes, those are your splices are black dots are splice. That's known as a node on the diagram. So that's your splice. So if you see here in the first box, you have 2 black wires spliced together and 2 white wires. So here are your 2 black wires and your 2 white wires. Okay. Again, you do the same thing for when you're going to strip it. You measure for a splice length. Okay. And you could strip all your wires first. Okay. Then again, you're going to make your splices. And who remembers what's the direction do you go in? Clockwise, right. I lined up my insulation. Got it nicely twisted, no air gaps. I trim at the width of the lines and pliers. You can put your tan wire nut on. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tuck it in like an accordion. That's one of the things you're graded on. I'll go over that in just a minute. So it's tucked in nice and neat. See that? How it's tucked in. Okay. Okay. Now you're going to splice your white wires together. Remember, clockwise direction. And don't over twist it. Just, as long as it makes one turn on the insulation, that's fine. Trim it at the width of my linesman pliers. Put the wire nut on, make sure it's nice and snug. It shouldn't fall off. Shouldn't be any copper sticking out. And again, I'm folding in the... Ready? Okay. All right, so now you got your first box done. The black and white wire is spliced and tucked in. Okay. And again, like I said, I was going to go over with you. All right. These are the 5 things that you're graded on the project. Okay. The length of the wire in the box, remember, it has to be, I want it to start out with a linesman pliers length. And then once it gets shorter than your stripper, you have to change the wire. But for the jobs you'll be doing, as long as you don't cut too much, this should be more than enough for use for all 4 jobs. Okay. Check your splices to make sure your splices are good. Safety while you're working. Okay, if you use the tools properly, keep your safety glasses on. Okay, you're tucking, make sure the wire's tucked properly. And then when I check your terminals, the terminations, okay? So those are 20 points each. That add up to, of course, 100. Okay? So that's what you'll be graded on. Now, next you're going to move to your second box. Okay? If you see there's 3 wires under the splice. The black wire coming in, the black wire going out to the next light, or the third box. And then you're going to have a tail going to your light. All right, so what you're going to do, this is your light fixture that you'll be using. It has wires on it, but those aren't the tails. You're going to actually go over to the scrap wire box and get a piece of black and get a piece of white. And then you're going to take it and cut it and make sure it's cut the length of your lines and pliers. Okay, so you could just trim them. All right, and you get your length or a little bit longer. Okay. So now again, you're going to take it and strip all your wires. I strip my 2 tails. Now I'm going to strip the 2 whites and the 2 blacks that are in the box. Okay. Now I'm going to splice my 3 whites together. And again, making sure that the insulation, the ends of the insulation are lined up. Okay. And then I go again in what direction? Correct, clockwise. Trim it the width of the lines and pliers. Take my tan wire nut and I twist it on. Then I take it and tuck again, tuck into the opposite corner. Okay. Tuck my wires like an accordion, leaving the tail sticking up because this is going to go on your light. Now I'm going to splice my 3 blacks together. Trimming the width of the lines and pliers. Put my connect wire nut on. Again, tucking the wires in like an accordion. Then I have my 2 wires sticking out to put my light on. All right, now that you have all your splices made, okay, wires are tucked in. Now you're going to take it and mount your 2 light fixtures. Notice the light fixtures have a white and black wire on them. You're going to splice the white to the white and the black to the black. Now you don't need to skin as much insulation off for when you do it, because if you notice this is stranded wire, and the stranded wire is going to wrap around the solid wire. So you really only need to skin about 2 to 3 holes, on the stripper. See, about that much. So again, if you want, you could just, while you have the stripper in your hand, you could go through and strip all the wires using this center hole again. Okay. Then you can use the yellow wire nuts. These are a little smaller than the tan. And just wrap the stranded wire around this solid wire, keeping the top even. Okay. So until it's snug, pull, make sure it doesn't come out. Same thing, another way to do it too, even with this stranded wire, if you just put it next to it, to just twist it around a little bit. Again, making sure the tops are even. Okay, so when it grabs both the stranded and the solid wire. Put it on until it's nice and snug, and then again, pull on the stranded wire, make sure it doesn't come out. Again, lining it up, put the wire nut on. Okay, pull on it. Now that you're done, tuck your wires in. All right, and just put the light fixture over the box. And again, tucking these wires in. Okay. Now that, because I'm not going to be here, I'm just going to have this sub check your project to make sure that it's wired correctly. And they're going to check all these things. They're going to, of course, make sure that it's wired correctly. Then they're going to check the length of the wires, the splices, make sure, if you've been doing safety right, your tucking and your terminations. Of course, on the first job, there are no terminations, so you get automatic 20. On that part, but they'll go through and check everything and they'll mark down a grade. And then once it's graded, then you could take it and move on to your, once it's checked by the sub, you can move on to your next project. Okay, now this one, if you notice, it's a little different. There's a switch instead of a light. There's a switch here instead of a light. So you have a single pole switch and a light. So instead of taking your whole job apart, as long as you did the rest of it correct, okay, what you're going to do is just, you're going to take this apart. Okay, take your light off. Okay, put the light aside. Then you're going to see the white wire is just spliced and tucked away here. So you're going to take the tail off. Take the tail off. Then you just take it and you need to just tighten the wires. And then put the wire nut back on. Okay, so that white wire, and tuck it back in. So the white wire is done. It's just spliced and tucked away. Now the blacks, if you notice, they're not spliced and they have put a switch on it. So again, you take the tail off. Take the splice apart. Now, if the wires are messed up or they're really bent, what you could do is you could just trim them a little bit to get the bad part off. You're going to re-strip it. Okay, and you put your loops on the wire. Whoops. Again, if it doesn't go all the way, you just close it with the edge of the wire stripper. Okay. All right, now that you have the loops made on your wires, you could take it. Okay, now that you have the loops made on your wire, You could take it and mount the wires on the switch. Remember, go clockwise direction. If you notice, I've been using my straight blade all the time because even though it looks like it takes a Phillips head screwdriver, it's really not a Phillips head, it's a square drive. So just use your straight blade when you're putting your wires on the terminals. Okay, so after it's done, you tuck it in. And then the second job was done. See, so it really wasn't that hard. You didn't have to change that much. Okay, that's why it's a good idea to look at the job first. But you also have to make sure that what you did was correct on your previous job. So if, let's say this splice was bad on the white wires. Redo the splice for the next job so you could you won't lose points on that splice again. Okay, but because if you leave a bad splice, you'll lose points again on it. All right, so again, you'll be able to check it. Okay, won't be able to energize it, but the teacher can take it and check it and give you a grade so you can move on to your next job. All right, so then the same thing with the next job. You just follow the diagram. It's a little different. You're going to use your duplex receptacle, a ceiling light, and now the switch is going to be moved into the first box. So now you're going to see from the first box to the second box, you're also going to have a red wire in there. Now you're going to have a white, a black, and a red. Okay? So you'll have to take your ceiling light out here, you have to take your switch out here, and you have to make some changes with the splices. All right, so you just follow the diagram. You can see here your blacks are spliced, your whites are spliced with a pigtail to the light, and then the red goes right to the light. Okay, so after you get your, the job, 2 checked, you could do job 3 and move on. If there's any time you have any questions on how to do anything, you could always go back and review each of the steps for whether it's the splices, your devices, or your wiring jobs. I'll leave the website or the area on the board where you can go and you could check right on your Chromebooks and look it up yourself. All right, thank you very much. Good luck, and I'll see you.